Just a quick message. This clip you're about to watch on my Stop Retiring Wrong channel are my words and books and educational events, but they're filtered through AI. But I am real, and my clients and their issues are very real, and my research is not AI. And I want to be very transparent with you as you take advantage of this only psychotherapist curated tool available that intersects fulfillment and finances and reframes the second half of your life into something that truly our parents and our grandparents never could even have imagined. So congratulations.
A pilot spent 40 years above the clouds. He flew through storms that terrified passengers, landed massive aircraft in blinding rain, crossed oceans while most people slept. Passengers trusted him with their lives every single day. Inside airports, people respected him instantly. The uniform mattered. The title mattered. The cockpit gave him purpose. Then one afternoon, after his final flight, he walked through the terminal carrying a small retirement plaque in his hand. People clapped. Co-workers hugged him. His family cried. And for the first time in decades, he had nowhere to be tomorrow morning. At first, retirement felt incredible. No alarms, no flight schedules, no jet lag, no pressure. But 6 months later, the pilot admitted something shocking to his wife. "I feel like I disappeared." And that sentence reveals a hidden crisis destroying thousands of retirees, especially pilots. Because flying airplanes was never just his job, it was his identity. If you are watching this from anywhere in the world, comment your dream career below and subscribe. Pilots often describe flying as part of who they are, not simply what they do. Think about it. Pilots spend decades being admired. Passengers look at them with trust. Children stare at uniforms with fascination. Airports become a second home. Every day has structure, pre-flight checks, communication, precision, responsibility, mission. Then retirement arrives, and all of it disappears almost overnight. Most people think retirement means freedom. But for many pilots, retirement feels more like falling out of the sky. And the pilot in this story learned that the hard way. For the first few months, he tried enjoying himself. He traveled, watched television, slept late, relaxed at home. But slowly, something strange happened. The freedom started feeling empty. Without the cockpit, he no longer knew his role in the world. Nobody needed him professionally anymore. Nobody called him captain. Nobody depended on his decisions. And one morning, sitting alone in silence, he realized something terrifying. He missed being needed. That realization destroys many retirees emotionally. Because work provides far more than money. It gives identity, status, routine, social connection, purpose, and proof of value. One aviation writer described losing the ability to fly after a traumatic accident and said it felt like losing his identity completely. He wrote, "You're not a pilot unless you are flying." And what happened next nearly destroyed the retired pilot completely. He stopped exercising, stopped socializing, stopped waking up early. Days blurred together. Slowly, depression entered. The pilot tried hiding it at first, but his wife noticed the changes immediately. He became quieter, irritable, restless. One day she finally asked him, "What's wrong?" And his answer shocked her. "I think the best part of my life is over." That single sentence captures the hidden emotional pain many retirees never admit publicly. But nobody talks about the psychological shock of becoming irrelevant after spending decades carrying responsibility. And pilots feel this loss deeply. One retired pilot honored after decades of service admitted he still wished he could fly even after retirement. Because flying was not simply work, it was meaning. And honestly, losing meaning hurts more than losing income. That decision would already have been enough to emotionally break most people. But what happened next changed everything. One afternoon, while cleaning his garage, the pilot found an old camera buried inside a storage box. Before aviation consumed his entire life, Photography had once been his passion. He had forgotten that completely, and for reasons he could not explain, he picked the camera up again. At first it was small, just walks around town taking pictures of sunsets and streets, but slowly something strange started happening. For the first time since retirement, he felt engaged again. The camera became more than a hobby. It became a lifeline. The retired pilot began traveling to small airports photographing vintage aircraft. Then he started attending aviation gatherings. Eventually, he began telling stories to young pilots about his decades in the sky. And something powerful happened during those conversations. He realized his purpose had not disappeared. It had changed form. Instead of mourning the loss of his old identity, he began building a new one. And honestly, this is where most retirees either collapse or evolve. Some spend retirement desperately trying to hold on to the past, repeating old stories, reliving former achievements, mourning lost importance. Others slowly reinvent themselves. The pilot chose reinvention. He began mentoring younger aviators, started volunteering at aviation museums, taught teenagers interested in flight careers, even gave talks about retirement and mental health. And the strangest part? He eventually became happier than he was during the final years of his flying career, because for the first time in decades, his life was not controlled by schedules, fatigue, and pressure. He finally had space to become more than just the pilot. That transformation matters more than most people realize. Because many retirees unknowingly suffer from what psychologists call identity foreclosure, becoming so attached to one role that losing it feels like losing yourself. Pilots are especially vulnerable because aviation creates extremely strong emotional identity. The uniform becomes the person, and when retirement removes the uniform, many feel psychologically lost. But the happiest retirees eventually discover something powerful. You are more than your career. One retired Air Force pilot returned to the cockpit after raising 4 children and spending decades away from aviation. She described the experience as making her grin ear to ear. Why? Because passion never fully disappears. And retirement does not have to mean the death of passion. It can become the rebirth of it. Another retired pilot built his own aircraft and flew solo around the world at age 69 because retirement gave him freedom to pursue the adventure he truly wanted. That story contains an important lesson. The people who thrive after retirement are rarely the ones doing nothing. They are the ones building new missions. And the retired pilot in this story finally understood that. One evening, years after retirement, he stood near a runway watching airplanes land at sunset. A younger pilot asked him, "Do you miss flying?" The retired captain smiled quietly before answering, "Every day." But I finally realized something important. Flying was one chapter of my life, not the entire story. That realization changed everything. Because retirement is not really about losing a career. It is about discovering whether there is still a person underneath the career after it ends. And many people never ask themselves that question until it is too late. The retired pilot rebuilt his life because he stopped trying to return to who he used to be. Instead, he allowed himself to become someone new. A mentor, a teacher, a photographer, a storyteller, a husband fully present for the first time in decades. And maybe that is the real lesson hidden inside retirement. The end of one identity does not have to become the end of your life. Sometimes it becomes the beginning of the most meaningful chapter yet. Because the truth is, the cockpit was never the thing that made the pilot extraordinary. It was the discipline, the courage, the curiosity, the passion, and those things survived retirement. They were simply waiting for a new runway.